Hi guys, story time. Today let me tell you a story of how I've been surviving, how I've built a life without a degree. Now, most of you look at me and think that, oh, I think this girl has a degree, or yes, I have survived a lot of years, a lot. And sit down, grab your tea, and let me chat. So, I have never stepped at a university. No. Will I step at a university? Maybe yes. So stick around for this video and find out. And this is my story. Hi, my name is Fanny, and today let me share with you how I have survived and why I don't have a degree at this point. So story time goes back when I was in senior 5, senior 6. Around that time, my parents really had a really tough moment. We went through a really tough financial crisis, and by the time I finished senior 6, even the time when I was doing my senior 6, I think my school was so kind with my parents. They allowed me to do the tests without even finishing the tuition, because my family was going through a lot of financial difficulties. And during that time, I remember I was back and forth, school, back home, school, back home. You know, they send you for school fees, you go back. My mom requests for like another 2 weeks. It was a very emotional moment. If I look back during that time, I feel like crying. Yes. So fast forward, when I sat for my senior 6, I remember my mom used to tell me, like, at this point, we are not going for the dream. Whatever course that comes across, just go for it. I think at some point we were thinking of maybe using my senior 4 certificate to go for a short course or something like that. And that's when I knew that, yeah, my goal, I wanted to really be an engineer. I didn't know what type of engineering I was going to do, but I really wanted to be an engineer. However, when I did my senior 4 and I was going to senior 5, they give you the school I went to the same school throughout, from senior 1 all the way to senior 6. So they give you the combination based on how you've performed. So apparently I didn't do well in physics. So I went ahead and did BCM, that was biology, chemistry, math / computer. And with that BCM, my first choice was I'm going to go for a medical course, and I was looking at specifically clinical medicine. Yes, clinical medicine. And then while you're filling the job forms, they tell you to put, I don't know how many choices, but there are top 3 choices. So my first choice was clinical medicine. My second choice was something, I don't remember, but it was something related to computer, because I really loved computers. My dad used to have computer, and he never wanted us to even touch it. So I was really curious. I was like, let me go for a computer course, maybe, yeah. So fast forward, we do our senior 6, and during vacation, my mom would always tell me, any course that comes at this point, your clinical medicine, put it aside and just go do it, do a skill. And that is one thing I love about my mom. She always encourages us to explore different paths and be good, learn how to do other things. When you're not good at it, at least have an idea of doing certain things. And I remember during my vacation, I don't know how it happened, everything happened fast. When our results came back, lo and behold, results came back. I have my principal passes, and I didn't perform quite well in biology, I have to admit, and that is one of the conditions for you to do clinical medicine. You have to pass biology and chemistry, but I did well in chemistry and math, I would say, and ICT. So our results came back. Not even a few days after the results came back, my dad got a call, maybe a few weeks. My dad got a call. I don't know how, that there is an institute that reached out to him, and they're giving scholarships to study. However, it's computer courses. And the institute was only having 3 courses. So they just told me, you go. And I leave Hoima. I come to Kampala to do the interview. It was computer interview. I already did my computer in A level and ICT, they call it ICT. And the questions were basically, how do you turn on a computer, basic parts of a computer, blah, blah, blah. So I passed that interview. When I passed that interview, they took me for oral interview. I did the interview. And then we went to choose courses. So they're like, we have 3 courses. So there is software engineering, but at diploma level. There is VFX, that is graphic design, animations and all that. And then there is, I think, IMS, that was information, I don't know what, and networking stuff. So I went for software engineering. So, and if you hear me calling myself a software engineer, I have a diploma in software engineering. However, I don't have the bachelor's. I've never done the bachelor's. So it was a diploma course, and it was, I think, for 2 and a half years. Yes, 2.5 years. I did the course at diploma level, and one thing I am really grateful for was that my school gave us the exposure, and they made sure that they had a rule. They're like, you guys, before, you're not going to graduate until you have a job. And we used to use the school premises. They gave us the different tools that we need. They brought companies to interview us from the school if you're in final year. And I think that is one thing I really felt grateful about it, they really brought companies to us instead of us going out to company. They'd be like, oh, Tata Consultancy is looking for interns. And I'm so happy that by the time I graduated, I had my first job. Yes. So I had my first job and I worked there for a year. After working there for a year, I was fired. And when I was fired, I got another opportunity immediately I got another opportunity to go back and maybe do a certification. I went and did a certification again in programming JavaScript. Before, we were not taught JavaScript at my campus. We were taught the major programming languages, PHP, Java, C, C++, but I went and did another certification in JavaScript. And after that, that was when I went through the refactory program. And from refactory, I did an internship. From the internship was already remote. So by the time we reached 2020, that COVID time, I had already a job. And then I think during that time also there was a company I'd applied for that was when I was still at campus. They reached out to me like 2 years later and they're like, we still have your CV. They gave me a part-time remote job. And somehow, I think things were just falling into place. Things were still falling into place, and that is how basically I've been surviving without a degree in Kampala. It's because of the skills that I have. So if you see me speaking on those big events, it's because of my skills and also the experience I have in the field. And now I am switching careers, but I'm looking into going back to school, and I'm almost 30, guys. Oh, it sounds so much. I'm almost 30 and I want to go back to school and at least do my bachelor's and see how it feels like to be a campuser, the life that I missed back then. And this video was basically just to share my story, and also those with degrees, no shade. That is, I think, something I admire, and I'd always wished to have a degree. And I am definitely going back to school for that. I feel like I need to level up, much as I have most of the experiences in my field. I've achieved most of the things. The money I got from software engineering, I've invested it in my side business. I've done a couple of freelance gigs that, and yeah, that is my story. And I'm really looking for a degree. You guys pray for me next year. If you see on this channel, I'm putting content like, come with me to campus, just know. So you guys, learn a skill. That's the only thing I can say. Learn a really good skill and make use for it. And then also pray. I think that God has been a big factor in my journey, because some of these things, I really don't know how they happen. Like, sometimes you don't know how things just start falling apart for you, start falling in place for you, and you don't know how. So a big thank you to God, and that is my story. It's just to encourage you, even those who have already graduated with degrees, like, it's really okay. If you have that degree, it's really okay. And if you can't get a job in that degree, it's okay. Get a skill and monetize it. Don't be embarrassed of what you're doing, even if it doesn't match what you're studying. Yes. So I have a business in the hospitality field, and my mom, it freaks my mom out. Like, why are you not doing work in your field? Yes, I still do the work in my field, but because like when I'm working, she's not seeing that part. The business part is the one which is more visible. So don't listen to anyone. Learn a skill. Show up for yourself, guys. Show up for yourself and look out for the opportunities, because that's another thing I had to learn. Like, if you're there, you have a skill, nobody knows you, nobody's going to hire you because they do not know you. So you have to be in spaces whereby there are people who may give you referrals. Like I said, some of the things just fell in place. I didn't know how, but it's because maybe I met someone at an event somewhere. Those tech conferences, I go for them. Those tech conferences, I apply and I speak at those conferences. And a lot of things, like, show up for yourself, be in a place where you can easily be seen. And that's the only advice I can say. And thank you guys for watching, and if you have any questions in the comments, feel free to write it down and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Bye.